In 2019, I got into a car accident and injured my left leg severely. My ex-girlfriend was the one driving and was the one responsible for the accident because she was fighting and yelling at me in the car over a minor issue. I advised her to either stop fighting or stop driving, but she was reckless and didn't care that she was risking not only my life, but hers as well. I suffered for months because of my leg. I had a severe infection resulting in amputation and had to use assisted tools to be able to move. My ex-girlfriend became distant and my parents were my main carers. Her treatment towards me took a 180 turn. Suddenly, I wasn't good enough for her anymore, and at some point, she started comparing me to other fully functional guys, claiming I wasn't the problem. It's her low self-esteem, and she was required to look for a partner with a better look, financial stability, and so on. She made my trauma all about her and how being with a guy with one leg affected her self-esteem. She broke things off with me and our relationship was supposed to end that day, but I foolishly spent months and months begging and convincing her that we were meant to be together. I even promised her that I'd do all I can to be able to walk again and reminded her of the plans we had together, and I hated myself for it. My self-esteem was almost non-existent. I was dealing with PTSD on top of that. I fucked up and resorted to medication to ease the pain. Therapy was on and off for me because I'd get extremely agitated at the mention of my ex-girlfriend. I was so stupid thinking she was my one and only, and it got worse when I became convinced that no one will accept me and my disability since it's the reason my relationship with my ex-girlfriend ended. My parents helped us so much. They and a few friends supported me to get through this after seeing my overall health decline. In the past 6 months, I was given the opportunity to be able to walk again after getting my prosthetic leg. It was long overdue, but money was the main problem. I'm a lot better now. My health is getting better, my mental health improved, and gained more self-confidence. My ex-girlfriend reached out to one of my friends wanting to talk to me about getting the prosthesis and bettering my health. My friend was like a messenger between us, but I kept her in the dark so that she knows nothing more than what my friend knows. I made it clear that I have no intentions to speak to her or discuss my health with her. My friend was respectful and stopped speaking to her about me. She visited my mom last week and left her number with her expecting me to call. My mom told me that my ex was out of town and was low contact with everyone and couldn't check in on me despite wanting to. She said I've never left her mind and that she was feeling happy and excited for my experience with my new prosthesis. Right now, she's waiting for me to call so we can get together and talk, but I didn't feel comfortable with the idea. I gotta say, I felt nostalgic and wanted to call her number a few times, but part of me prevented me from doing so. It's been a week and I didn't call her. I'm not sure if I still have feelings for her. My family said that I should talk to her. After all, we've known each other for 7 years. It's clear that she wants to connect, but I just don't think this is what I want. How should I deal with this pressure? My girlfriend lied to me about her age and is actually 18. I'm shocked and I don't know if I can proceed with this relationship. Long story short, I was using Hinge and I sent her a comment since I saw from her profile that we had a lot in common. It said she was 21, goes to a nearby college, etc. She even confirmed that with me, telling me a birthday that would say that she's 21. We matched in the fall of 2020 and have been dating since November to now. Well, it wasn't until our most recent date where at this time I asked if she wanted to get drinks and she tells me that she can't. Obviously, drinking age is 21 and up, and she said she wanted to tell me for a while, but she was using the dating apps while in high school. So at 15, she put that her age was 18 and never deleted it. She said that she just forgot about it, and I know that people use dating apps when they're a year or two younger, but for months she kept it a secret. She was my first girlfriend and meant a lot to me. She gave me space because she said that she knows it's a lot to take in. The thing is, I don't know if I can move past this, and I feel weird dating someone way younger than me. She says she loves me and that we can make this work, but is that even possible? If I knew her true age at the time that I messaged her, even if we had all this in common or got along well, I still wouldn't have dated her. I'm 25 and I want to be able to have a future and significant other who I can share that life with, but she's not on the same level of finances and life that I am. And she probably won't be for a few years if I do stick it out. What should I do?
Am I wrong for telling my sister-in-law no one cares that she's pregnant? See, this is one of those posts where it's like, duh, you're the asshole, but then when I read it, it's like, oh, never mind, watch. Backstory. My cousin, 33 female, who I'll call Mary, lost her husband, 32 male, and 2 of her 3 children, 3 female and 9-month-old male, in a car accident last week. Her and her daughter, 5, are as you would expect, and it's just heartbreaking. Well, today was the funeral, and my brother's wife announced her pregnancy the second they arrived at our house this morning, and we were like, okay, congratulations, but please keep it on the down low for today. Well, when we arrived at the church, she kept making gagging sounds and rubbing her stomach, saying, I, as a mom, can't imagine what she's going through. They have no kids, so people would look at her and she'd tell them she was pregnant. Afterwards, at my aunt's house, my sister-in-law kept making everything about her. Like, someone was in the bathroom and my sister-in-law would loudly say, pregnant lady needs to pee. She literally told my cousin to give her her seat so the lady with the baby could rest her feet. I ignored her until she came to Mary, stuck out her flat belly and said, me and Isaac just found out I was pregnant, and honestly, we are beside ourselves. It could happen to us. Mary broke down crying. I snapped. Who says that to a woman who just literally lost 2 babies? I said loudly to my sister-in-law, no one gives an F you're pregnant. Look around. It's not just 1, but 2 babies' funerals, not to mention the love of Mary's life. Like, I knew you were an attention seeker, but for fuck's sake, you took the test 4 days ago. Just leave. Good for you. She did leave in tears, and my brother called me a fat, bitter bitch. Oh, what the fuck? I've gotten phone calls from my brother and my sister-in-law's family calling me the world of names because I made a pregnant woman cry. Mary and my aunt thank me, but if I'm being honest, I feel bad about causing a scene. So please put me in my place if I'm wrong. Her husband, your brother should have pulled her aside and be like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Shut the fuck up. But if he don't do it, you can do it. So, little update. I found out this morning that my brother and my sister-in-law harassed my cousin with phone calls for her to talk to me about yesterday. My aunt gave both of them an earful and then made my cousin turn off her phone. My brother and my sister-in-law were at my parents' house trying to get their side in when I arrived. They both came at me screaming and yelling about my sister-in-law's feelings, and she could miscarry from the stress I caused her. Sister-in-law said if I didn't lose my attitude and apologize, I'd never be in their child's life. Oh, brother, step up, brother. I told her I didn't care, and if she was going to use the kid as a weapon, I didn't want to be in their life anyway. Things got heated, and my father ended up kicking out my brother and my sister-in-law. So yeah, all this drama at a time, we should be there for one another. I'm so sorry you have to go through that, but your sister-in-law's fucking psycho. Your brother's whipped too.
I've got a story you need to hear, especially if you work in the service industry. So, I'm blind and I love makeup, and I've recently been looking for a new red holiday festive lip and a new pink lipstick. So the other day, my mom, my guide dog, and I went into a MAC Cosmetics store, and I had such a positive experience, and I want to share this with you because this is such a great way of how to interact with a blind customer. So as soon as I walked in, she said, "Hi, welcome to MAC. Can I ask, are you blind?" And I was first off just really impressed that she recognized that I might be blind, because unfortunately for some reason a lot of the time people assume, despite the fact that I have a service dog, that I'm just training him, that I am not blind and in need of his service. And then I was also appreciative and happy that she felt comfortable enough to ask me. It is not a bad word. Blind is not a bad word. It's okay. I'm aware that I'm blind. You're not the one who's bringing it up for the first time ever. So I was really happy, and it showed me that she's comfortable with disability. It doesn't make her feel uncomfortable to ask me, "Are you blind?" When I said yes, she said, "How can I best assist you, and what are you looking for?" So I told her what I was looking for, and I said, I feel like the best thing we can do is work together as a team. My mom knows me. She knows what I like and what looks good on me, and you know makeup. So I think we're going to figure this out. She guided me over to the lipstick area, and she started to pull all of the pinks and the reds. She started to ask me, "What finish do you want? What do you want it to feel like on your lips? What do you want it to look like?" And then she started trying to swatch and describe the colors. And I kind of said, "Hey, do you think you'd be willing to look up online on the MAC website and see how they describe the colors?" And she's like, "That's a great idea." So she spent like 20 minutes with me, happily pulling colors, swatching them, describing them from her perspective, having my mom describe them from her perspective, and reading the description of the color on the MAC website. I could not have been more appreciative. And then the funniest thing happened when I checked out with my 3 new products, including this lipstick, Red Rock, in case anyone's wondering. She asked for my email address, and I told her, which has my name, Molly Burke, and she started to freak out, screaming, oh my God, you're the famous Molly Burke." And literally in my mind, I was like, took a second, and I was like, is there a Molly Burke that is famous? I don't think so. I think she probably is referring to me, because I feel like people always are like, "Oh, I follow you on TikTok. I follow you on YouTube." But I rarely hear people call me famous. So I was like taken aback, but she was like literally bracing herself against the wall because she was like gonna pass out. It was the cutest thing ever. So Patina at the MAC Cosmetics store, if you're seeing this, thank you, girl. You were an incredible customer service worker, and I appreciate you so much.
For those of you guys that don't know, I used to be a professional booster. That's how, right, honey, when I needed something, I would go get it professionally. And I'm going to tell you the story about the time that I went boosting, but I got caught. So I had devised this plan, and I had been doing it for about 2 years, where I would go to Dillard's every Tuesday at 6 when their truck came. And I would walk around the purse area where the makeup's at and that kind of thing. And I would watch and see that the associates were not putting the purses on their little things where they lock them on there. Usually they lock the really expensive purses on the stand that they're sitting on. So I was able to go shoplift a couple and then run out the main entrance into the mall, take a right, and hit that door. Well, me and my husband, we had just really started to get together and meet each other. We'd probably been together for like 6 months, and we had no pills, and we was hurting. And we had borrowed money from everyone. So I was like, you know what? I know a plan. I can go get these purses, and then we can sell them to the dope man. We can sell them to some ladies, whatever, and we can get enough money to get some pills. He's like, are you sure? And I'm like, yes, don't worry. We had the last bit of Xanax that we had. I took a couple, and he took a couple, and that's all we had. And I took off to Little Rock, to Dillard's. So my husband, I say, stay in this car. Do not come in no matter what. If I'm not back in 30 minutes, leave. So I go in and I'm scoping it out, and I see, just like I said, my purses. They're not attached to the displays. So I go grab 3 on this arm and 3 on this arm. And instead of running out into the main entrance of the mall, I decide I'm going to take a shortcut and run out the dealer's door straight out to the parking lot. Super easy, right? So I'm running, and I hit the door, and it ain't moving, baby. It's not moving. And I turn around, and there was a police officer standing right there. Hello, little missy. Ah, shit. Now. So he grabs me up, pats me down, finds all my utensils. I had a pair of toenail clippers. I had a screwdriver. I had all kinds of shit to pop stuff off if I needed to. And he takes me back to this back room and says, I'm calling. You're going to get a ticket, and you're going to go to jail today. Fair enough. Fair enough. Hopefully Neil will just leave, and I'll go to jail, and he can come get me out. Honey, those cops were busy taking care of real crime, and nobody could come get me. So he said, you know what? You're lucky, because you're getting out of here today, and I'm going to let you go. Get out of here and don't come back. So I ran out, jumped in the truck. Guess who's not in the truck? My man. He was so worried about me, he went back in looking for me.
I'm an asshole for stealing my best friend's husband. My best friend and I have been best friends for years. She's been married super long to her husband. Little did she know that her husband and I used to date back in high school. But we were so young that it just didn't work out. I never told her because I didn't want her to feel uncomfortable. But I'm gonna be honest, I never got over him. And seeing how he treats her makes me so jealous. I started to text him again, all friendly, nothing romantic or anything. And then he started flirting with me. I told him that we cannot do that because of his wife and my best friend, and he told me that their marriage was not that good anyways, and he was going to divorce her soon. My best friend didn't tell me any of this, and I had no idea that their relationship was rocky. He did end up divorcing her about a year later, and then he asked me out on a date. I said yes. I do feel like this is breaking girl code, but we're all grown-ups here. And it's not really childish. My best friend found out and she's livid with me and won't even talk to me. She said I stole her husband, and I told her, no, you stole my boyfriend.
I genuinely cannot tell if men think that we're stupid or if they're just oblivious to certain things. So I was seeing this guy, not exclusively, just going on dates, getting to know each other. And after a while, I was telling him about how I really wanted to get into social media. And he was like, hey, I know this girl from the city that we lived in that's super successful in that area. You should follow her, or at least check out her page. And so I'm looking at her page. She has a lot of followers, and I'm like, oh, that's so cool. How do you know her? Because he's super not into social media. And he was like, oh, I went on a date with her like 2 or 3 years ago, just one date. Cool, no big deal. So I followed her. And she's very openly talking about all of her dating experiences and how up until a couple months ago, she was in a 5-year relationship. Long story short, he was also seeing her at the same time he was seeing me. That's not really what I found weird. It just was the fact that he told me to follow her. I just can't imagine seeing 2 guys and telling one of them to follow the other one on Instagram.
Okay, story time. For those of you that don't know, my name's Cassandra. This is my brother, Johnny. We're from Springfield, Missouri, and on November 16th, I had made the trip to North Dakota to pick up Johnny from prison. He had spent the last 10 years in federal prison for robbing 2 banks when he was 19 years old. Side note, we are not celebrating his crime, but instead we are celebrating family reunification and second chances. So when he was 19, he robbed those banks and he had to do 10 years. So here we are, November 16th, 2021. I had picked him up from prison. We had to make the long trip back, which was about 13 hours to Springfield, Missouri. We stopped about 5 hours away from Springfield, Missouri in Omaha, Nebraska, where we went to Walmart and got him some clothes and then went and got a steak dinner. And then that's when I had basically forced him to do the viral TikTok video. And we basically giggled all night about how silly it was, and he could not believe that was going to be his debut into the world. And I posted it, and I've been on TikTok for like 2 years, and none of my videos have gone viral or anything like that. So we didn't really expect anything to come of it. It was just basically an older sister forcing her little brother to do a TikTok video. So yeah, hours after he was released, he made that TikTok video. We went to bed and we'd had like 1,000 views or something like that on the video and still really didn't expect much of it. When we woke up, we saw that we had like 46,000 views on it. Now to me,